Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. In this week's Torah portion, as Jacob, the patriarch of the family, is about to pass away, his son Joseph brings his two children, Ephraim and Manasseh, to his father Jacob for a final blessing before he dies. And the blessing that Jacob gives these two boys, Ephraim and Manasseh, is that through you shall all of Israel bless themselves. That all future parents shall bless their children to be like Ephraim and Manasseh. And indeed, until this very day, every Friday night, or whenever parents bless their children, we bless our boys by saying, may God make you like the two sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh. And the famous question is why? When we bless our daughters, we bless them to be like the matriarchs. May you be like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. So with the boys, we should have said, may you be like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But no, we don't bless our boys to be like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We bless them to be like Joseph's two children, Ephraim and Manasseh. Why are they so special? And there are many answers given. One famous answer is that these were the first two boys raised in exile outside of the land of Israel, in a foreign country in Egypt. But yet they didn't assimilate and adopt the Egyptian culture. They remained proud Jews. And therefore our blessing is to our children, wherever life may take you, always remember to be a proud Jew, to preserve your Jewish identity. The second famous answer is that throughout the book of Genesis, we read one story after another of sibling rivalry and jealousy. These were the first two brothers that there was no rivalry or jealousy amongst them. And therefore, when Jacob sees two boys that love each other unconditionally, he says, this is the greatest blessing. May all our children be like Ephraim and Manasseh. There should never be jealousy or hate, God forbid, between one Jewish child and another Jewish child. But another beautiful answer given to this question is that throughout the book of Bereshit, we have many stories of parents blessing their children. This is the only recorded story in the entire Torah of a grandparent blessing a grandchild. Jacob is blessing his grandchildren, Ephraim and Manasseh. And therefore the blessing is that as parents, not only do we have the responsibility to bless our children and to guide and to love and to inspire our children, but also our great grandchildren. The special bond and relationship between a grandparent and a grandchild. Indeed, the Talmud says that anyone who studies Torah with their grandchild, it's as though they received it from Mount Sinai itself, from God. The highest, loftiest level of Torah study is engaging not just with your children, but with the next generation. The conversation through the generations with your grandchildren, teaching them and guiding them in the ways of Torah and mitzvot. And this is a beautiful lesson, the role of a grandparent, and how the grandparents' role could be even greater than the parents. Because you see, when it comes to parents and children, sometimes there's contention, there's some tension and struggle between parents and children. Parents have to discipline their kids, and sometimes the kids push back, and there could be some feelings of discontent between a parent and a child, God forbid. But when it comes to your grandchildren, there's only love, there's only joy, just kindness. And therefore the grandchild looks to their grandparents in a special way, because all they get from them is pure unconditional love, never rebuke, never being chastised by their grandparents. And therefore they can receive Torah on a different level. And therefore we have to utilize that special opportunity and that special bond that we have as grandparents. There's a story in Israel about a girl who grew up in a secular family, completely secular Israeli family, but she became religious and started observing Judaism, and she got engaged to a nice religious young man, and they were getting ready to get married. And the mother comes to her daughter and says, I want to give you a gift before your wedding, my beloved daughter. Your father and I, we have a very expensive set of china, going to gift it to you as a wedding present. And the girl says, Ima, thank you, that's so kind, but you know, my husband and I, we're going to be having a kosher home. These dishes you've eaten non-kosher food on it, so we can't really use this set of dishes. It's a good set of dishes, we can't put it to use. And earthenware vessels, Jewish law says you can't kosher it, so there's nothing we can do with it. When the mother hears this, she starts crying. The daughter says, Ima, I'm sorry if I offended you, I didn't mean to hurt you, but you understand, we're kosher. I just don't want you to waste a nice set of dishes. because we're not going to be able to use it. And the mother says, no, I'm not crying tears of sadness. I'm actually crying tears of joy. See, let me tell you something. Your grandfather, you didn't know him. He died when you were young. But he was a survivor. My father, he came from Europe. He was a pious Jew. He went through the war, but he always remained religious. He put on his tefillin every day. He prayed. He went to shul. He kept Shabbos. He was a wonderful Jew. But I rebelled and I left the Jewish path. I stopped being observant completely. And I got engaged to your father, who was completely secular as well. And I knew it was a disappointment to my father, but that was me. When I was engaged to your father, your grandfather, my father came to your father, his future son-in-law, and said, I want to give you a gift. And he presented him with a brand new talus for his wedding gift. And your father said to my father, thank you so much for the gift, but I don't go to synagogue ever. I'm not going to be able to use the talus. I don't need a talus. I don't even go on the high holidays. So thank you, but no thank you. It's not necessary. Give it to someone who's going to use it. And she says, I remember the sadness in my father's eyes that his future son-in-law says, I have no need for a talit. I'm so secular. I never go to synagogue ever. And I knew at that point that I hurt him so badly, and it hurt me. And I regretted the path I took that led me so far away from Judaism. She said, now that I offer you my china, and you tell me that you can't use it because it's not kosher, I remember the story of my father being rejected with his talus. And I realized that now my father's looking down from heaven, and he's so proud of you, of his granddaughter, and your future husband are going to lead a Jewish lifestyle. And therefore you gave me great joy, knowing that your grandfather's love of Judaism has been transmitted, may have skipped a generation, but has been passed on to you. That's the role that every grandparent can have, and that's the blessing we give our children every Friday night. Have a wonderful day.